Companion Captain of the Host.
Most excellent Grand High Priest.
You will inform the Senate we're about to open this annual convocation and directing God's word.
Companions, let us pray. Remember the book that blessing at this time. Will thou be pleased to grant that this meeting thus be in order, may be conducted in peace and close in harmony. All this we ask in thy holy word. Amen. Amen.
Right Excellent Grand Captain of the Host, you escort the Right Excellent Grand Principal Soldier to the altar to arrange the lights. Everybody hear me?
The most worshipful Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of the most ancient and honorable society of free and accepted Masons for the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, Brother Gary S. Hoffman.
It is my pleasure to introduce to you and through you to the companions present, brother and companion Gary S. Kaufman, the most worshipful Grand Master of Masons for the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. He is accompanied by the Right Worshipful Grand Marshal Melvin S. Silverio, the Deputy Grand Master Robert B. Elston, and his Marshal, Keith B. Moan, Right Worshipful Keith B. Moan. And they are here to pay a fraternal visit to our Grand Chapel.
Most worshipful Grand Master, it is an honor and a privilege for you to be here, for me to greet you here today with your distinguished suite. If you will stand fast, I will greet you and escort you to the east.
Most illustrious High Priest.
Again, right?
Am I right? Did I get it?
Most excellent.
Most excellent.
It's that Maddox kid. I'm blaming on that Maddox kid.
Most excellent High Priest. It's my honor to be here this morning with my distinguished suite, and I have to tell you, thank you so much for sending these wonderful brothers, companions, and my friends and mentors coming here.
No, they had nothing else to do. I figured I'd get them put my way.
Well, it was very nice. Thank you.
I will escort you to the east.
I will let you do that.
All right.
What's your name again?
Yeah. Companions, please join me in giving our most worshipful Grand Master public grand honors.
Thank you very much, companions, brothers. The honor you bestow upon the office of Grand Master and me, its current occupant. Thank you.
Okay. Well, again, good morning. Thank you all for coming, and it's wonderful to see everybody out in person. Without further delay, we'll get this show started. Right Excellent Grand Treasurer, do you have a report for us?
Well, that's on Grand High Priest. Yes. Just allow me to remain seated, all right? Excellent Grand High Priest and companions of the Grand Chapter. My report is brief this year because we basically were close to the pandemic, expenses were low, investments managed to not take too drastic a hit, make a little bit of money, we'll go over them. The only thing I would like to say is the financial statements will be different this next year. We will be including the investments in with the irregular financials to be more in line with generally accepted accounting principles. We'll go over the balance sheet first, which consists essentially of just our checking account, which is $7,785.83. I will tell you the investments. We started the year, we do the ending figure. We ended February 28th at $64,842.78. I thought this had the beginning as, but it only has the beginning of January 1st. They don't go on our calendar year.
Correct, yes.
Total income for the year was $7,293. Miscellaneous expense was $624. Per capita, the general grand chapter was $1,410. Printing $169. Professional fees $997. Office supplies of $294. Total expenses of $3,410, leaving a net income of $3,882. And we do not need to draw any of the interest out of the account, out of the investments this year.
That's good. That's very good.
That's my report, Mr. President.
That is your report. Companions, your will and pleasure with this report.
Most excellent. I move that the report of the treasurer be received, recorded, and placed on file.
Most excellent. I would second that, but I have a question. Earlier, he said that he forgot the investment statements at home. Is it the same with chapter? Do you have an idea of what the investments are worth
Yeah, he said that,
With
64,000
chapter
change.
for chapter?
Yeah, that's what it is, read, 64,000.
54,000?
64.
6-4. Okay, excellent, very good. I would second that now.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to have the recorder's report received, recorded, and placed on file. I mean, treasurer's report, I'm sorry. Vote by usual sign. Counter-minded? Approved. John, your report, right?
Yes, sir. To the Grand Rhode chapter of the state of Rhode Island, Province of Plantations, I hereby submit my report as your Grand Secretary. Reported last year, 2020, with a membership of 471 companions. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we had no exaltations this year. We did have one reinstatement and no affiliations, making a plus side 1. We had a loss of 21 with 6 demits, so withdrawals, 4 drops of non-payment dues, 11 deaths. This puts a net loss of 20 and an end membership of 451. The actual number of companions is 422 with 29 active affiliations. Fraternity submitted, John Secretary, and no like to the other report. This report is from February 1st, 2020 to January 31st, 2021. Changes after the date will be in next year's report.
Companions, you heard the report of the recorder. What is your pleasure?
Most excellent. I move that the report of the recorder be received, recorded, and placed on file.
Second. We have a motion and a second to have the report of the secretary to receive, recorded, placed on file. All those in favor? Counter-minded? Passed. Very good. In chapter, we have one. we only have one award. It is the bronze medal. And this bronze medal is a medal which is made and given by general grant, but it's presented by the grand jurisdiction of the state. And so one of these is given out every year. And again, this is for meritorious service. I mean, we all know what meritorious service is. You know, a lot of times it's the guys that do the work that we don't really see. And it's guys that have been there through thick and thin, and whenever you pick up the phone and make a call, they always answer on the other end. So this year, I'm going to give this award out to somebody who, there's been 3 of us coming up through the ranks as younger Masons, and we've kind of always stuck together, jumped around, some ahead, some behind, some following, but it's kind of always been 3 of us. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but 2 of us are actually not eligible for this, but the last one is. And it is absolutely my honor to present this medal today. To my grand captain and host, Dr. David Checo. We're buffering.
Okay. The chronology, February 1st, 2020 to January 31st, 2021. During the past year, we have been signed by 3 deaths in our grand jurisdiction of permanent members of the grand chapter. In like council, the first 2 occurred after the official time period last year, but were read in last year's delayed annual. Charles L. Niles Jr., born December 8th, 1924. Ex-High Priest of Franklin, Chapter number 7, 1972. Most Excellent Grand High Priest, 2000 to 2001. Died May 15th, 2020, age 95 years. Cindy Clifford Jr., born January 3rd, 1937. Excellent High Priest, Providence, Chapter number 1, 1987. Died June 3rd, 2020, age 83 years. Anthony Tapadua, born December 18th, 1922. Excellent High Priest of Landmark, Chapter number 10, I don't have the date. Most Excellent Grand High Priest, 1991 to 1992. Died October 28th, 2020, age 97 years.
An excellent Grand King, can you do the honors?
O God, we pray for thy hand to lead us in all paths our feet may tread, and when the journey of life is ended, may light from our immortal home illuminate the dark valley of the shadow of death, and the voices of loved ones gone before. Welcome us home to that house, not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Amen.
Good morning, companions.
Good morning.
2 years ago, we started this part of the Masonic journey, and I say we because there is no I in team, and we really do have a great team. We had a plan to put this grand jurisdiction in a position to stay viable well into the future. This was the start of a 6-year plan. From the first month, I met with the financial advisor, gave him control of the investment portfolio for a modest yearly flat fee. Took the responsibility off the treasurer. Was trying to manage our investments on top of all the other things. It's worked out pretty well for us. We then drafted changes to the Constitution to bring them more up to date and give us a workable document to set the roadmap for the future. The results of some of those changes have already taken effect with positive results. Membership is on a high list of things that we've been working on to improve. The average age of a Royal Arch Mason in Rhode Island is about 72. So in 20 years, we're poised to lose half our members. Membership's not just a numbers game. There needs to be a reason to come out once a month. So in the coming years, we're working more closely with Blue Lodges and chapters to grow and maintain our membership. Having the opportunity to serve you as Grand High Priest for the past 2 years has been an honor, a privilege, as well as a humbling experience. There's been great highs, such as representing Rhode Island at the Triennium, honoring companions for their hard work, dedication, and honoring someone who I consider a friend and a mentor with a 50-year certificate, just to name a few. With the highs, there are also some lows. Travel wasn't much of an option, and unfortunately, and after much contemplation, I had to make the decision to suspend the charter of the chapter. This is not the time or the place to go into details about this, but be assured we are working and we will continue to work to reinstate this chapter as soon as possible. I want to thank all of you for your support that you showed the office of Grand High Priest and me as humble occupant over the past 2 years. And now that my official duties are over, I find myself not in the chair for the first time in 11 years. I will not be going away. This just gives me the opportunity to put more effort into seeing our 6-year plan come to fruition. Respectfully submitted, Stephen Reali, Most Excellent Grand High Priest.
Companions, you have heard the report of the Most Excellent Grand High Priest. I would now entertain a motion that his report be received, recorded, and placed on file.
Make second.
So moved.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, vote in the usual fashion. Any opposed? Motion carried. Most excellent.
Thank you for that, companions. It's truly heartfelt. Okay. Now for the moment we've all been waiting for. But excellent, Grand Captain Host.
Most excellent Grand High Priest.
Will you please escort Most Excellent Past Grand High Priest, Priest Philip Crawford west of the altar. Stay fast, I will meet you. Most Excellent Crawford. And I'll turn you with the gavel of this grand chapter to you, the emblem of my authority, and also my jewel, which is the badge of my office. If I can get it off. There you go. So that you may install the next Most Excellent Grand High Priest.
Good morning, companions and guests.
Good morning.
I am present this morning for several reasons, but primarily to install the officers of the Grand Rite chapter of the state of Rhode Island. I'm accompanied this morning by companion Douglas F. Seipel, the Grand Installing Captain of the Host, companion Russell J. Lawrenson, the Installing Chaplain, and companion Cliff Goss, the Grand Lecturer. Hopefully you don't have to say anything. Where to start? Okay. Opinion installing Captain the Host.
Right.
You present the Grand High Priest-elect before the ease.
Right. I present to you companion Robert Fitz, who has been elected Grand High Priest to serve the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations
for the ensuing year. I find him of good moral character, and know that he will do his just favor. I find him well versed in a royal occupation, as our forefathers were.
Companion Fish, you will about face. Companions, you behold before you Companion Robert J. Fish, who has been elected to serve this grand chapter as Grand High Priest. If any of you have any reason to urge why he should not be installed at this time, you will make it known now or forever hereafter hold your peace. There being no objections, I shall proceed to install him. You will about face. Companion, I take much pleasure in this present occasion by installing you into the office of Grand High Priest of the Grand Chapter. It is an office highly honorable to those who faithfully perform the important duties annexed to it. Your reputed Masonic knowledge, however, precludes the necessity of a particular enumeration of those duties. I shall therefore only presume that by a frequent recurrence to the Constitution, general regulations, and charges, you will best be able to fulfill them. It is presumed that those who have been chosen to preside with you will give strength to your endeavors and support your exertions. Right, excellent. Installing Grand Captain the Host. You will place the Grand High Priest elect at the altar in due form. You will conduct the chaplain to the altar.
Most glorious and holy Lord God, the great high priest of heaven and earth, with thy fear, that his tongue and action may pronounce thy glory. Make him steadfast in his service, animate his heart, and strengthen his endeavors. May he teach thy judgments and thy laws. May the incense he shall put upon the altar prove an acceptable sacrifice unto thee. Bless him, O Lord, and bless the work of his hands. Accept us in mercy, hear thou from heaven thy dwelling place, and forgive our transgressions. Amen.
Companion, you will say aye, call your own name in full, and repeat after me. I
I, Robert J. Fish,
do solemnly promise and swear
do solemnly promise and swear
that I will serve this grand chapter
that I will serve this grand chapter
as Grand High Priest
as Grand High Priest
for the term for which I have been elected,
for the term for which I have been elected,
and until my successor
and until my successor
shall be lawfully installed,
shall be lawfully installed,
that I will perform
that I will perform
all the duties appertaining to my office
all the duties appertaining to my office
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and will support and maintain
and will support and maintain
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the Grand Royal Arch Chapter
of the Grand Royal Arch Chapter
of the State of Rhode Island
of the State of Rhode Island
and the general regulations
and the general regulations
of Royal Arch Masonry.
of Royal Arch Masonry,
So help me God,
so help me God,
and keep me steadfast
and keep me steadfast
in the due performance of the same.
in the due performance of the same.
As a further token of your sincerity, you will kiss the holy writings which lie open before you. Very excellent. Installing Grand Captain Host, you will conduct the Grand High Priest to the east.
Okay, court officers, Braxton Grand Chaplain, Howard Malin. Ryanson, Grand Captain Host, Jason Gale. Ex-Grand Lecturer, Clifford Cross. Right, ex-Grand Royal Arch Captain, Eric Grist. Ex-Grand Master of the Third Veil, Roy Pruitt. Ex-Grand Master Second Veil, Wilson Perez Sr. Right ex-Grand Master of the First Veil, Michael Cunningham. Right ex-Grand Musical Director, Frank Castellone. And right Assistant Grand Musical Director, Perry. Ex-Grand Historian, Scott Bill Hurst. And right Grand Sentinel, Alan Alston. That's what I have.
Thank you. Will the officers who have been elected and appointed to serve the Grand Chapter assemble west of the altar at this time? Companions, do each accept the office to which you have been chosen at this time? Right, excellent. Installing Grand Captain of those, you will place the king-elect at the altar in due form. Companions, you will say aye, call your own name in full, and repeat after me. I do solemnly promise and swear that I will serve this Grand Chapter in the office to which I have been chosen for the ensuing year, and until my successor shall be lawfully installed. That I will perform the duties appertaining to my office to the best of my ability, and will support and maintain the Constitution of the Grand Royal Arch Chapter of the State of Rhode Island and the general regulations of Royal Arch Masonry. So help me God. And keep me steadfast in the due performance of the same. As a further token of your sincerity, the king-elect will kiss the great king-elect, kiss the holy writings of life before you. Companions, do you concur with this salutation? Okay. Owing to the interest of time, all the officers are hereby declared installed and will resume their stations at this time. If any of you have any reason or any question regarding the duties of your office, you can address them with the Grand High Priest or any other past Grand High Priest who's more than willing to help out. Okay. Very excellent. Installing Grand Captain Los, you will dismiss the line.
Gentlemen, find your seats.
Back where I was.
With one, you also see the companion should he so far forget himself as to be out of order. Most excellent Grand High Priest, behold your companions and guests. Companions and guests, behold your most excellent Grand High Priest, and greet him with a hearty round of applause.
High Priest, past, Philip N. Crawford, I now declare the officers elected and appointed for the Grand Royal Lodge Chapter of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, duly elected and installed, once, twice, thrice.
Good morning, companions.
Good morning, Most Excellent.
As you know, we've kind of expedited things because we're going to be infringing on Commandery's time. We don't really want to do that. He mentioned during his comments about 3 of us that have been bumping around and changing chairs and so on and so forth. And I know the 3 he was referring to, that is himself and me and Dr. Checo. So I owe a great deal of gratitude to you, Most Excellent, for your encouragement, your guidance. He got me started in all this stuff. And actually put me in line too in Blue Lodge, so I am grateful for that. I also want to recognize 2 men. Everybody recognizes them, but I kind of think of them as the 2 great pillars out in front of King Solomon's temple, because they really stand in representation of that which is good about our fraternity. And that is a gentleman I call Most Everything, Bob Allen, and the other gentleman I call Almost Everything, Reali, Ray Hassel. Thank you. Like most everyone else, I have enjoyed and appreciated their advice, their counsel, and sometimes their poking. It's important that we are able to speak truth to one another. And they certainly do that well, and I appreciate it. They will continue to do so. They are, along with excellent James Dismaris, the members of our jurisprudence. We also, we have an excellent finance committee which will be working together with Most Excellent Ringling, headed up by Kenny Poynton, Most Worshipful Ken Poynton, along with Rich Barrows and Andrew Palmer. So we're looking forward to the work they do. We will finally, and I know Most Excellent Ring, you'll appreciate this, we are finally going to have a budget. In the interest of time, I'm going to go right to the main points I wanted to make. And companions, I would like to share with you the 7 last words of every great institution, which are, we never did it that way before. Change is upon us. COVID has made that so absolutely clear. Most Excellent Steve mentioned the average age of our membership. You'll note that our Grand Lodge has joined with Scottish Rite and more recently the International Shrine in promoting a program called Not Just a Man, a Mason. And I very much intend to join with you in that endeavor. Recruiting, something we haven't traditionally done. is critical for our survival. And although we recruit from the Blue Lodge, it is incumbent upon us to be recruiting for the Blue Lodge. And we need to break down this barrier of the other York Rite bodies stealing bodies from the Blue Lodge. We have a symbiotic relationship. It is critical to the survival of our entire fraternity, in my opinion, that we work together, that we grow as a community. So to the chapters represented here today, I'd like to share with you what I think are the three most important things for us to do starting out, and that is food. Food and food. The breaking of bread we do together is at the very heart of our fellowship. The chapters which thrive the most have great dinners and always have large gatherings. Food is important. Education. We have traditionally not done well in educating or training our junior officers. We have to start doing that. To that end, and first time I want to get to call you this, Rite, excellent, grand captain of the host. Would you retrieve a little package from my wife there? To that end, we have developed, thank you, Rich Belford, Assistant Secretary, who has created for us, we have packets. These packets contain all of the duties and responsibilities of an entire line of officers. I expect you share with me that I've been installed in a couple of spots before, and I don't remember what the installing officer told me my duties were. I don't think I should be dropping the gavel. Now, we will hand each officer in each chapter a packet containing all the duties and responsibilities of every officer from Sentinel right up through High Priest, so that they may prepare themselves for the next office. I'm also challenging our chapters to select your incoming officers a year in advance, not the night of the meeting. We need to get away from the business of changing deck chairs on the Titanic. We need to encourage new people into the line and develop them and move them up. So I hope you will all embrace progressive lines. Ritual. Ritual is so important. So important. It's what makes us look like we care about what we're doing. All ritual for opening and closing must be memorized. And to go back to the business of recruiting, we live in a time when the people who would be our best candidates have become accustomed to 30-second sound bites and memes. And we need to adopt to that end. We have appointed Pat Connor to be our Director of Public Relations, and hopefully he'll be putting together the memes that might reach out to other people. But I want to ask you to join me and ask if there are any other grand high priests from other jurisdictions still with us with all of the difficulties, if they would join us. You know, every great movement just started with somebody expressing an idea and other people liked it and caught on. So I'd like to ask you to join me in creating a movement. Let's call it the Great Masonic Revival. Where, how do we do that? We do that by sharing our light, which admittedly may have been somewhat diminished by this COVID circumstances. But I guarantee you, the more we share it, the brighter it gets. So let's all think about that. Let's think about being the kind of companions, the kind of Masons who other people want to be like. Let's get a movement going where we reach out to the community, to the world at large. God knows, in our country, we need more light and harmony, togetherness. I leave you with that thought. We have a couple of other things to do. I want to read it. Do I have to use my show?
If you want to, go ahead.
I want to present Most Excellent Reali with his Grand High Priest certificate, actually both of them, because as the time has occurred, Most Excellent,
Get one, and I get two.
you get two. In addition to that, I'd like to present you with this very special jewel. As a past Grand High Priest.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell us about the jewel?
I will. Not much to tell, but this is a past Grand High Priest jewel. This past Grand High Priest jewel was presented in 1900 to, to Most Excellent, Harry Rugg. Now, Most Excellent Rugg, he was a member of Grand Lodge. He served as a secretary for a number of years. He was a pastor. He served as a past commander of St. John's Commandery. And he was also the only person from Rhode Island to serve as Grand Master of the Grand Encampment for Commandery. So this is his jewel, which I have. And I also, I carry his sword. As a past commander of St. John's Commandery, I also carry his sword. So this is kind of special when this kind of rolled across the desk. I said, yeah, we're gonna use that. So that's all I pretty much have to say about that. But I do have some bling for you. This is your traveling jewel. So that way, they will recognize you as the Most Excellent Grand High Priest, because I will guarantee you, after today, you're going to lose those cuffs. The only one that can pull those off is the Grand Master. And with that, thank you very much, Bob. It's been a pleasure, and we've had many discussions. You know I'm not going anywhere, and I'm here for whatever you need.
Thank you. I want to thank the illustrious 33rd degree Deputy for the state of Rhode Island, Scottish Rite, ancient and accepted Scottish Rite from Northern Masonic jurisdiction in the United States, Stephen E. Smith.
Thank you for the recognition, Most Excellent Grand High Priest, and I wish you nothing but the best for the ensuing year, and it's a pleasure always working with you. Thank you.
Illustrious Steve, I know that you know, and if anyone here doesn't know, talk about somebody who mentors people. My goodness. Steve and I have had the opportunity to do a lot of things together, and I frequently seek his counsel on matters even other than Scottish Rite. So I thank you very much for all your
support and help.
Most worshipful. Tell you, I genuinely have enjoyed and appreciated our friendship as well as your leadership. I think under the circumstances, and we have all faced these circumstances, even at the level of a worshipful master in the Blue Lodge, we've all been through this. And you've done remarkably well for us. And I look forward to our month and a half or two together, and I also, very worshipful, look forward to our year together. And I pledge to you that this grand chapter will work hand in glove and be an appendant body that you all can be proud of, as we are proud of you. And with that, Grand Master, may I present you with the gavel of the Grand Chapter of Royal Archmasons for the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations.
Thank you very much. Most worshipful, excellent, Grand High Priest. Did I get it?
You want the Grand Master?
You can do anything you want to.
Thank you very much. Most appreciated. I will take the podium for just a moment. Yes, sir. You can have a seat since it seems like we have a moment or two. So, out in the hallway just a moment ago, we were speaking and we were running short, and I said, well, no problem, I'll bring the greetings, which I'm going to do right now. Bring the greetings of the most ancient and honorable society, the Grand Lodge of the most ancient and honorable society of free and accepted Masons for the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, and my warm and fraternal greetings, and that of my Grand Marshal, Melvin E. Silverio, right worshipful. And I said, well, great, I'll just get up here and I'll say, remember what I said at council? Well, I'm saying it again, and we move on. But now we have time. So now I have to think, what am I going to say that's going to be meaningful for everyone? And I will go right back to what you said. It is so important for us all to work together, to grow our craft. And as we heard just a few moments ago, and it started a little over a year and a half ago or so, Scottish Rite got together with Shrine at a very high level and said, look, you know, we got to work with the Blue Lodges. Scottish Rite came out with programs in the Northern Masonic District for us, jurisdiction, to use. Didn't cost anything, nothing, because they know, Scottish Rite knows, for Scottish Rite to grow, for York Rite to grow, we need to grow the Blue Lodges. So we should be working together. I got a phone call 3 weeks ago from Most Excellent, who said, we would like to do a program at a Blue Lodge. And I said, well, what is that program? And he explained it to me. And I said, look, I can't have you open up anything within a Blue Lodge. You can't do that. But you can do a program. Whatever program you want to do is fine with me. You want to promote York Rite in the Blue Lodge? I think that's phenomenal because we're working together. I don't see it as a loss from Blue Lodge going to something else. It isn't, because that brother wants to do what he wants to do. If it's within Blue Lodge, great. If it's within Grand Lodge, great. If it's within Scottish Rite, great. If it's within York Rite, fantastic. It's all good because we are a brotherhood. It doesn't matter. So absolutely, come to the Blue Lodge. Talk to the brethren. Get them interested in not only York Rite, but bringing in more brothers to the fraternity so we can grow our fraternity and not hear the negative numbers as we're all hearing at all our annuals. We've lost, we gained a few, lost. Let's start turning that around. And I think the Most Excellent is right on track. So, I'm going to leave it at that. I am so happy for you to attain this position. I know you're going to do an absolutely phenomenal job. What's excellent? What can I say? We didn't do an awful lot together. COVID has changed a lot of things.
Well, what we did it well.
We did it well. We met here. We actually met together, which was wonderful. Again, in council, we did the same. So with that, I'm going to pass the gavel right back to you. I'm hungry. You said food. So thank you, companions.
Would you escort the chaplain to the altar for a closing prayer?
All right. Companions, let us pray. Supreme Grand Master, Lord of heaven and earth, now that we're about to separate, return to our respective places of abode, will thou be pleased to influence the hearts and minds of each one of us, that we may practice out of the chapel with great moral duties which are inculcated in it, and with reverence study and obey the laws which thou hast given us in thy holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Now, Right Excellent Deputy, no, Right Excellent Grand Captain of the Host, you will disarrange the lights. Companions, I declare this convocation of the Grand Chapter of Royal Arch Masons for the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations closed.